Welcome to Double Portion Inheritance with Maria, Merola, and Gary Wold. Brought to you by DoublePortionInheritance.com. Since 1981, Maria heard the call of Yahuwah to become a watchman to the house of Yisrael and to those within the traditional Christian church. She was instructed to warn them against the false doctrines and pagan traditions of men. After 25 years of studying Scripture, the word of Yahuwah came to Maria again in 2007 as she was called out of the corporate world to become a full-time intercessor and prophetic teacher. The name of the ministry, Double Portion Inheritance, was given to her after she received the revelation of the two houses of Yisrael from Ezekiel 37:16. The mission of this ministry is to bring together the stick of Judah and the stick of Joseph for the return of the Messiah, Yahushua. And now, Maria Merola.
Today is Shabbat, March 11th, 2023. This is the second study that we're doing today. Will Orangeman wear the orange jumpsuit? Now, before I start, I want to share some of these links that we see online, what we know about the potential indictment of Donald Trump. Okay, this is looming right now. Okay, this is looming. People need to understand why this is going on. This isn't just happening in a vacuum. Trump is one of the most powerful men on earth. He is allowing this to happen for a reason. How an indictment could affect Trump in 2024. This is happening all over the place. It says, what are the Trump charges? You know, he's being charged with criminal charges for January the 6th. Okay. Now, what are the Trump criminal charges? New York prosecutor set to indict Trump. This was just done 2 days ago, March 9th, 2023. We're hearing these rumors. So what is going on? Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so will Orangeman wear the orange jumpsuit? Well, you see, this blog started out as a post on December 19th, 2022. Things have been looking pretty bleak for President Trump as of late, as we have been hearing reports in the news about him being indicted and going to jail for possibly up to 25 years for inciting riots at the Capitol Dome on January 6, 2021. Additionally, his Trump Corporation has been charged with 17 counts of tax fraud since December 6, 2022. But will these charges stick? And will he serve time in prison? Well, I highly recommend that you read this other blog that I did, and it's on YouTube. It's called The Mystery Behind the Insurrection at the Capitol Dome. In this blog and in the video, I decode all the different occult rituals that were taking place at the Capitol Dome on that day and what they were actually doing. So it's important that you go and read that blog or watch the video on YouTube, okay? Here it is, you know, it's called The Mystery Behind the Capitol Dome Insurrection. And it's available on Rumble, on Odyssey, on YouTube, and on BitChute. I have it in 4 different places. So in this blog, I explain the occult rituals that were taking place on January 6, 2021, and that the entire thing was carefully orchestrated to summon the spirit of Apollyon from Revelation 9:11. In Daniel 7 and 8, as well as chapter 11, I believe Trump fulfills the little horn, as well as the king of the north, who is described as someone who will honor the God of forces in his estate. Now, right now, King Charles III is about to be crowned on May 6th as the King of England. He's going to be crowned with this holy olive oil at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. So people are looking at Charles and saying, there he is. There's the Antichrist. Well, guess what? There is no such thing as the Antichrist. Okay, let's get that straight. There's no scripture that uses the word the in front of the word Antichrist. Let me prove that to you real quick. I get tired of people saying, the Antichrist. Do you think Trump's the Antichrist? Who do you think is the Antichrist? Like as if there's only one person that's the Antichrist. Okay. In 1 John 2:18, what does it say? Little children, it is the last time, and as you've heard, that Antichrist, there's no the. It just says Antichrist shall come. Even now, are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. Okay. In 1 John 2:22, who is a liar but he that denies that Yahushua is the Mashiach? He is Antichrist that denies the Father and the Son. Well, how many people in the world deny that Yahushua is the Mashiach? Quite a large group of people. So there's more than one. There's more than one Antichrist. Okay. 1 John 4:3, and every spirit that confesses not that Yahushua Mashiach is come in the flesh is not of Elohim. And this is that spirit of anti-Mashiach, whereof you have heard that it should come. And even now already is it in the world. So everyone who does not confess that Messiah Yahushua came in the flesh, his name Yahushua means Yahuwah is salvation. So in other words, this passage is telling us that whoever does not confess that Yahuwah himself, the Father, came in a human body. Yahushua is Yahuwah come in the flesh. Whoever doesn't confess this is of the spirit of anti-Mashiach. Also, in 2 John 1:7, it says, for many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Yahushua, in other words, Yahuwah, our salvation, is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an anti-Messiah. So you can be there's so many people in the world who are an anti-Mashiach. There's no the Antichrist. It just doesn't exist. Okay. There are many anti-Messiahs right here in Matthew 24:24. What did Messiah say? He says, for there shall arise false Christs, plural, false Messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. But there's only one person, I believe, that fits the role of the little horn, and nobody comes closer to fitting all the characteristics, in my opinion, than Donald Trump. But what about in 2 Thessalonians, where we are told the man of sin, the son of perdition? It says that, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Elohim or that is worshipped, so that he is as Elohim sits in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Now, I know people are saying that it's the human body that's the temple. That's true. Our body is a temple. This is true. But you see, heaven and earth are still here. Heaven represents the spiritual things, and earth represents the physical or the literal things. As long as heaven and earth are still here, both the spiritual interpretation of Scripture and the literal interpretation of Scripture are still here. Okay? So in Revelation 11, we are told that there's going to be a third, another temple, a literal temple in Jerusalem. I'll get to that in a minute, so just bear with me. Okay, so this is a graphic, and this is just, I'm postulating here. I'm not prophesying anything. I'm simply postulating, right? An insurrectionist was and will be chosen over, and I use the name Jesus Christ because the MAGA people, the Trump people, that's what they call him, Jesus Christ, right? So Messiah said this in John 5:43. He says, I am come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, and him you will receive. Okay? Now, I believe that this whole January 6th thing was carefully orchestrated occult ritual. So I'm going to read this. The largest religious sect, the Pharisees, in the Roman province of Judea, now Israel, lobbied for a famous prisoner swap. This ancient self-righteous religious sect chose Barabbas, a prisoner mentioned in all four Gospels over Yahushua to be released by Pontius Pilate in a customary pardon before the feast of Passover. Barabbas was in prison for fomenting an insurrection against Rome, plus other major crimes. Yes, the most religious chose one of the most evil men of their time. The parallel here in this story is that the largest religious sect in this country are the evangelicals, and they support an insurrectionist. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that Trump actually did commit insurrection in the way that we think, right? But in a sense, he did, but more on a spiritual level, okay? And I'll explain what I mean, okay? It's not that he actually committed an act of insurrection in the literal sense, but in the occult sense, he did, okay? Because he was actually behind this Kabbalah magic ritual that most people haven't picked up on, okay? So when or if their Messiah, you know, Trump is their false Messiah, when or if their Messiah is indicted, they may attempt another insurrection, or hopefully only minor acts of rebellion. You know, 2 Thessalonians 2:3-4. The Passover date may also be significant in this 2,000-year-old foreshadowing, since Trump may face indictment, who knows, right before Passover, which is Wednesday, April 5th to Wednesday, April 12th. That remains to be seen. I'm not prophesying. I'm just saying it would seem to fit the pattern of what they're doing. Now, I recommend this video, The Mystery Behind the Capitol Dome Insurrection. Please go back and watch this, because you will understand more fully what is going on. Okay, now I have another blog called The One Who Comes in His Own Name. Right here, the name and number of the beast revealed in computer ASCII code, Trump's Merovingian bloodline. I've written about 30 different blogs about Trump over the last 2 years. There is so much information on him that just keeps on coming out. I can't even, stop writing about it, because Yahuwah is showing me so much. Okay. There's a video playlist on YouTube. And if you go to this video playlist, every video I've done about Trump is there. Okay. I also have the 30 different blogs I've written about Trump right here, blogs about Trump. So lots of information. Now, pictured here is a comparison between a Freemasonic temple with the Trump Tower living room in Manhattan. You will notice there's a painting of Apollo on the ceiling and double pillars, the double pillars of Freemasonry. This is a Freemasonic temple with Apollo on the ceiling, okay? Trump literally built his Trump Tower patterned after a Freemasonic temple. Now, I highly recommend this video called Is Trump a Freemason? Trump Tower 666, Temple of Baal. The guy who does this video does a great job. His name is Nathan Leal, and I think he did an excellent job on this video. So I highly recommend that. Okay, now, I did a YouTube video and a blog called Trump, Obama, and Biden Portrayed in Megamind. And I also recommend that. If you really want to understand what's going on behind the scenes and why is the media covering all this stuff with Trump being indicted, there's something so much deeper than what meets the eye here. See, in 2010, this film called Megamind is escaping from jail wearing an orange jumpsuit. I believe Megamind represents Trump. He's wearing a holo watch. The watch is short for hologram. A hologram is an illusion. Okay, this watch enables Megamind to scan an image of any person and then project that image onto himself as a means of disguise. After Megamind escapes from prison by disguising himself as the warden, he formulates a plan to create a new superhero using the DNA of Metro Man. Now, on December 16th, 2022, Trump released NFT trading cards with himself looking like a superhero. And he says the world needs a superhero right now. There's Mr. T looking like, Superman with the letter T there. He's got the number 45 on his boots. Okay. He wants to be everybody's superhero. These trading cards sell out. He raised over $5 million on these cards. Can you believe it? Okay. You see, in the Megamind film, Metro Man walks on water, just like Messiah, but he resembles Elvis Presley. Metro Man also fakes his own death in the film because he wants to retire as a superhero. But he later comes out of hiding and he supports Megamind as the new superhero. Now, it has been alleged that Elvis Presley faked his death in 1970 as well. And I've looked at that, and it's entirely possible because I learned from some of the documentaries that I've watched that Elvis Presley went to work for President Nixon for drug enforcement. Apparently, Frank Sinatra and all these Italian mafia guys wanted to have Elvis killed. And the Black Panthers wanted to have Elvis killed. The FBI found out about this because they had bugged some of these meetings with the Black Panthers and the mafia, and they found out that Elvis's life was in danger. So he faked his own death and he went to work for Nixon as drug enforcement. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems plausible. Okay. And I think they were kind of telling us this in the Megamind film. Now, what does Elvis Presley have to do with Trump? Well, you see, Trump bragged at a political rally in Tupelo, Mississippi, and he told people at this rally that when he was younger, people told him that he looked like Elvis Presley when he was young. Now, Trump doesn't say anything just out of in a vacuum. Everything he says is in there. It's cryptic. It's a cryptic message. I believe, the QAnon people claim that Trump speaks in code. In fact, in the book of Daniel, it says that the little horn speaks in dark sentences. I believe he was alluding to the idea that there are plans for Trump to fake his own death via an assassination. Okay, that's possible. There's still more to understand. Okay, Will Trump pretend to be dead and then be resurrected? Will he have a clone of himself? Some people say that some people say there's two Trumps, that when he's wearing the red tie, he's the real Trump. And when he's wearing the blue tie, it's the clone. That's possible. Some of these people that have enough money, they can have a clone made of themselves because, in case they get assassinated, they have a double of themselves. Well, will this be a fulfillment of the image of the beast? Revelation 13:15. Who will be given life and will be made to speak. And here you can read about Trump comparing himself to Elvis. Well, see, Trump's family are descended from this alleged union, supposedly between Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. This narrative is part of the cult called the Rosicrucians. They believe that the womb of Mary Magdalene is the Holy Grail. This is carefully explained in the film called The Da Vinci Code, starring Tom Hanks. And I go into that in this other blog called Trump's Royal Bloodline of the Merovingians. I also have these other videos that you can watch: The Devil's Advocate, Mona Lisa, Da Vinci Code, and Trump born during a lunar eclipse on a blood red moon. Da Vinci Code, the Antichrist bloodline, Da Vinci Code, and Mary Magdalene. So those are other videos that you can watch. Now, just like a carefully planned script, Trump announced in April of 2021 that he's the father of the V. I have to be careful not to use the actual word. Just like Megamind, after Hell is changed into a superhero, he makes a huge mess of Metro City and he starts destroying everything, just like Biden is doing right now to America. You see, this leads Megamind to become wildly popular again with the people of Metro City as they beg him to return to office. Once he returns back to the Oval Office, he's more popular with the people than ever. In Revelation 13:14, the beast is healed from a deadly wound by a sword, but he lives again. The Greek word for sword in the above passage is makira, which means judicial punishment. Could it be that Trump is going to suffer a deadly wound to his political career? Could it be he's going to go to jail, just like Megamind was in jail in the movie? And could it be that his deadly wound by the judicial punishment will be healed? That's entirely possible. That Trump's political career could suffer a deadly wound and then be healed. Okay, but that remains to be seen. I'm not prophesying. I'm just saying, I'm postulating. In the Megamind film, Megamind injects Hell using a giant needle with the divine DNA of Metro Man. Now, Megamind then tells Hell, I am your father. I am like your space dad. Okay, so here is Megamind. He shapeshifted into Marlon Brando. He's got the big updo hairdo, exaggerated hairdo like Trump's hair. And he's like, I am your father. I am like your space dad. And in the film from 2010, there's a scene where, he's acting like Marlon Brando from the Godfather movie. And he says, I am your father, after he injects Hal with this DNA altering substance. And then what do we have later on, April 29th, 2021? Trump's latest illusion, I am the father of the V. And he's holding out his hands exactly the same way as, Megamind, who's disguised as Marlon Brando. I don't think that's an accident. I mean, it's just like crazy, right? So Trump's first wife, Ivana, wrote in her memoirs that Trump kept a copy of Hitler's speeches on his nightstand, which he read before bed in his book, Mein Kampf, which Hitler wrote, which means my struggle. Hitler wrote in his book about his time in jail for insurrection. You think this is a coincidence? I don't think so. You see, this is eerily similar to what is taking place with Trump right now, because Trump is being threatened with going to jail for the January 6th insurrection. Okay. And there's, Newsweek. This was on last summer, July 29th, 2022. Will Trump do time? And they have him sitting there in an orange jumpsuit, just like Megamind. Okay, it's becoming increasingly more obvious that the global elites, in other words, men like Klaus Schwab, founder of the World Economic Forum, are slowly rolling out a new Nazi Germany and America. And Trump is slated, I believe, to become another Hitler. In fact, just recently, he's been quoted as saying that he wants to bring back the guillotines. He wants to bring back the firing squads. Now, I'm not against using that form of execution on, horrible people like pedophiles and things like that. But do you think it's only going to be used on people like that? Or do you think it's going to be used on those of us who refuse to worship the beast? I don't know, but, anybody that says he wants to bring back the guillotine, that sounds awfully, similar to Revelation 20, where it says, I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the testimony of Yahushua. Okay, but you can go and look at these articles where Trump's ex-wife said that he kept book of Hitler's speeches. And incidentally, his ex-wife Ivana died last summer, falling down the staircase, supposedly, just a few days before he and his children were scheduled to go to court on charges of corruption and fraud of the Trump organization. Now, don't you think that's a little strange that she dies only days before they're scheduled to go to court? And of course, the judge postponed the hearing because they were grieving. Things that make you go, So here's the full story at the History Channel website about Hitler's insurrection and his subsequent rise to power. Hitler's sentence for his role in Beer Hall Putsch. I can't pronounce this. Putsch. Now, everybody's saying, oh, Trump's history, his political career is over. Don't you count on it. The beast that is and was not, that was and is not and yet is. Don't count on it, okay? I see a pattern here. Back when Trump first became president, all the liberals were comparing him to Hitler over his border security policies. And I was in disagreement with the liberals about this, and I still am. I think that the liberals comparing Trump to Hitler just because he wanted to put a border wall, that's weak sauce. I don't think that's a good reason to compare him to Hitler. But what I think is that these Hollywood people are part of the plan, that this carefully orchestrated plan was rolled out on purpose so that the conservatives would dismiss it and go, oh, you can't trust that. That's just fake news. Oh, yeah, you really trust those Hollywood liberals? They're all Satanists. Yes, it's true. They are. They are Satanists. So what they do is this is how they do things. They put the truth out there and then they have you dismiss it because the source of that truth comes from an enemy. So you're like, oh, that can't be true. It's, that's fake news. You can't trust the media. You can't trust Hollywood. That's true. We can't. But what if it was carefully orchestrated that way on purpose, where they tell us the truth and they use these sources that nobody wants to trust? Now that it's been put out there, everybody, all the conservatives dismiss it. Okay. Now, I highly recommend these blogs, these videos. What did Back to the Future tell us about Donald Trump? Highly recommend that you watch those. I've got it on YouTube. I've got it on BitChute and on Rumble. Now, new update. As of December 29th, 2022, the January 6th committee withdrew the Trump subpoena and concludes the investigation. January 6th committee withdraws Trump subpoena as investigation is concluded. But now, all of a sudden, I don't know how these indictments are now being resurrected, but somehow they are. Okay. Now, I want to share this. The one who comes in his own name. See, one of the many biblical markers shown to us in Scripture pertaining to the man of sin, the son of perdition, 2 Thessalonians 2:3, can be found in the words of our Messiah, Yahushua. And he said it right here in Yehukanan, John 5:43. I am come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. See, our Messiah's name has the Father's name in it, Yahu, because the name Joshua was originally spelled with all 6 Hebrew letters, Yod, He, Wal, Shin, Wal, and Ayin, Yahushua. However, after the Babylonian captivity, the lying pen of the scribes, Jeremiah 8:8, removed the name Yahu from the name Joshua, rendering it as Yeshua. Okay, even the Dead Sea Scrolls confirm the full spelling of Yahushua, and I have the link right here. But guess who comes in his own name? Well, it's the Donald, or Donald Trump. He has been listed as owner of 318 trademarks using the Trump name in the United States database. What most people may not be aware of is that the name Donald in Gaelic or Scottish literally means the world ruler. Barack Obama changed his birth name. Originally, he was born Barry Soetoro. Pope Francis does not come in his own name when he holds the office of a pope. His birth name is George Mario Bergoglio, which, by the way, George Mario adds up to 666, and the last name Bergoglio adds up to 666, but so does President Donald Trump, also adds up to 666. Now, King Charles III is not his original birth name either. He was born Prince Charles Philip Arthur George of Wales. However, when he used to be Prince Charles of Wales, that was like an official title of his, Prince Charles of Wales, his name did add up to 666. But now that he's King Charles III of the United Kingdom, it doesn't add up to 666 anymore. So you'll see all the trademarks that have been listed using the Trump name in the United States. I found 318 trademarks. Trademarks, yeah. What did I just say? Did I say something wrong?
You said trademarks.
Oh, trademarks. Okay. So these are just different terms I've been able to find in computer ASCII code. Now, did you know that in Revelation 13, where it says, let he that has wisdom count the number of the beast, that word count in Greek means to compute. Now, it was possible to compute even back in ancient times, but how much more now that we actually have a language called computer ASCII code. See, we actually have a language called computer ASCII code. And at this website, antichristcalculator.com, they have 10 different methods for doing gematria there, and you can't find it on any other website. So here are all the terms that add up to 666. President Donald Trump. Trump is Antichrist. Trump is Satan. Trump is devil. Trump is reptile. Trump is serpent. Trump is Halel. You know, Isaiah 14:12, the Hebrew name for Lucifer is Halel. Trump is Haman, just like in the Esther story. Trump is Assyrian. You know, Isaiah talked about the Assyrian. Trump is Nimrod. Trump is Tammuz. Trump is Terminator. Trump Third Temple, 666. Trump is Poseidon. Trump is clone. There's so many. Trump is arrogant. Trump is prideful. Trump is AI. Trump is Pharaoh. Trump is Nero. Trump is he-goat. Trump is Nebuchadnezzar. Now, how can he be all these people? What I'm trying to show here is that the spirit of Antichrist that is on Trump, you know, the spirit of anti-Mashiach, the spirit of Antichrist has manifested throughout history in all these different characters. All these different characters in history are archetypes of Antichrist. So Trump is shadow president. Trump is Judas. Trump is Pope. Trump is Roman. I even found Trump Asbury Revival 666, Donald Trump Asbury. Now, some people might go, oh, that's just a coincidence. But see, I've tried other people's names with these same terms, and it doesn't, there's no match for 666. So what does Trump have to do with the Asbury Revival? I believe that the Asbury Revival was orchestrated by the one world religion of Pope Francis. And this so-called revival is to bring about this worship of Trump, and people in this country are already worshiping Trump, and I believe it's going to get worse. So I believe that this push, this revival for the religion of anti-Mashiach, this world government of anti-Mashiach, is to exalt Trump and put him into position. Okay. So all these links I've provided here, Trump's trademark ownership, you know, there's so many of them. Trump the Game, Tour de Trump, Trump Airlines, Trump World's Fair, Trump's American Pale Ale, The Donald. There was an alcoholic cocktail named after him. The Trump Follies. Tobacco Road was also a brand that was trademarked by him. Trump Super Speedway, Trump Vodka, Entrepreneurship Mastery Program, Trump University. There's so many of them. Affordable Luxury Comes Home. Central Park, he even trademarked Central Park. He trademarked DJT. Donald J. Trump Signature Collection. He trademarked his own name, Donald Trump. Donald Trump the Fragrance. Empire by Trump. Whoo, Empire by Trump. Wow. Every number tells a story. Oh my goodness. Every number tells a story. I just got done showing you. Every number tells a story. He actually trademarked this. Fifth Avenue. He trademarked Fifth Avenue. Make America Great Again. He trademarked it. Mar-a-Lago. He trademarked it with the dashes and without the dashes. He's going to collect money on all these different names. Okay. Success by Trump. T. Trump Hollywood. T. Trump Tower. Tampa. A. Donald J. Trump Signature Property. The Taj Mahal. He's even, trademarked Taj Mahal. the Donald J. Trump Signature Collection, the estates at Trump National Golf Club, the Mar-a-Lago Club. I mean, I could go on and on and on. The Trump World Tower, just like Nimrod, a builder of towers. Nimrod was the first archetype for the false Messiah, anti-Mashiach. The Trump World Tower at United Nations Plaza, Trump Attaché, Trump Entertainment Resorts. I mean, look at this. Trump Hollywood, Trump Grand Ocean Resort and Residence. There are so many names that he has trademarked with his name. He comes in his own name in spades. Nobody comes in his own name more than Donald Trump. Keep America great. Make America great again. He's trademarked that. Okay? Look how many Trump towers there are all over the world. There's Trump Tower in New York, in the Philippines, in Turkey, in India, all over the world. There's Trump Towers in Moscow, in Tampa, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in Atlanta, Georgia. Bangalore, India, Colorado, Philadelphia, Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, West Palm Beach, Los Angeles, Seattle, Washington. Trump Plaza. So many trademarks. This guy comes in his own name more than any other personality in the world. I've listed all of them here. All the casinos, all the golf clubs, all the Trump Towers of the world, all trademarked. All the games. Okay. John 5:43, he says, I am come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. He's talking to the kingdom of Judah, right? And he says, if another shall come in his own name, and they named things after Trump in Israel, okay? Here's another blog. The name and number of the beast revealed in computer ASCII code. Now, as I already said, when we're told to count the number of the beast, this word in Greek is sephizo, which means to compute. Pictured here is what an artificial intelligence program generated with when you tell it to draw a picture of Antichrist. This is what the AI drew. Look at that. You can't deny that looks like Trump. Okay? And there are so many things that they named after him in Israel. Now, I know that, everybody wants to think that Charles is the Antichrist. Well, like I said, there's no such thing as the Antichrist. There's many Antichrist leaders on the world stage right now. The name Donald means world ruler. What does Charles mean? It just means free man. Okay. Also, the name Trump means horn, as in little horn. In fact, his name, Donald Trump, means the world ruler, little horn. Okay. Now, it's said that the little horn has a look that is more stout than his fellows. What does that word stout mean? It means domineering. It means tall, heavy set. Okay. So he towers over Charles a little bit. So Trump's look is more stout than Charles. And I don't have time to go through all of this, but the little horn in Daniel's prophecy is famous for interpreting the handwriting on the wall in Babylon, which today is called Iraq. This is a prophetic vision that he had for an appointed time in the time of the end. And it says that the little horn would conquer the Middle East. Trump did that with the Abraham Accords. The prophecy states of itself that it will again serve at the time of the end to identify the king of the West. Trump came from the West, America, and he had the disposition of a he-goat, and that no nation would be able to withstand as he makes his nation very great, prior to an unthinkable event that will occur that causes 4 nations to vie as superpowers in the latter time of their kingdoms. Now, this is the he-goat attacking the ram. The ram in this prophecy is Medo and Persia. In other words, Iran and Iraq. Okay. There's the Trump Tower that is in Uruguay. It looks very similar to the Tower of Babel. So Daniel's prophecy had this vision of a river in Iraq. His dual-purposed vision points out that in the end times, a strong leader of the West, okay, Charles is not from the West. He's from the East, Eastern Europe. A leader from the West with the character of a billy goat will be known for his stubborn personality. The prophet wrote that the king of the West will be called a he-goat, and he will be moved with choler. The Webster's Dictionary defines the word choler, a ready disposition to irritation, marked by a hot temper and easily provoked to anger. Now, Oxford Dictionary defines this word choler as a peevish temperament, easily provoked to anger. We know that's Trump. Not saying that King Charles isn't easily provoked, but Trump's got everybody beat when it comes to that. Daniel forecasted that at the time of the end, this king of the West will be moved with choler, anger. And his anger will be stirred against Persia, which is Iran. You see, since 1936, Persia became known as Iran. So what's going to happen right now that Iran is waging war against the nation of Israel. And I believe that Trump is going to be instrumental in helping Iran to join the Abraham Accords. And it's going to seem like he did this miraculous thing that nobody else could have done. How in the world does this person get Iran to join the Abraham Accords, where right now Iran is totally not interested? But it says that the he-goat, whose feet touches not the ground, in other words, he tackles the ram having the 2 heads. I believe this he-goat, back in the days of Alexander the Great, this was the goat was Alexander the Great, and the ram was Media and Persia. But I believe in our modern times, Trump is a type and a shadow of Alexander the Great. And I just showed it to you, I think, in this one. Which one is it? The one where I showed the one. Yeah. Is it this one? He who comes in his own name. Yeah. Look, Trump is Alexander the Great. Let me see, though. I have that one here. Oh, the Prince of Grecia. Let me find it. I thought I had it here. Trump, Prince of Grecia. You see, the Prince of Grecia was Alexander the Great. See, I just see Trump as a type of Alexander the Great. So later in Daniel's prophecy, there's a parable of 2 horns as the kings of Media and Persia, which is Iran. Daniel prophesied that at the time of the end, a king of the West will trample the leaders of Iraq and Iran into dust. See, on September 11th, 2001, a king of the West was caught reading a children's book, My Pet Goat, to children, school children in Florida when this nation was air attacked. Okay. Later, this Western leader, President George W. Bush, under his motto, "Stay the course," initiated an unprovoked attack on Iraq in a war called Iraqi Freedom, leading to its dictator, Saddam Hussein, being toppled in death in 2003. See, this was the first stage of Daniel's prophecy. Since Trump's presidency until now, this war still endures because Daniel predicted that the West's attack near the territory of Media, conquered by Alexander, must also topple Persia's Iran's leader. However, when this he-goat leader from the West defeats Persia or Iran, Daniel writes that his nation will become very great. Make America great again? After this king of the West destroys this second king, being Iran's leader in Daniel 8:8, Donald, meaning world ruler, is Trump, the king of the West. I believe in these end times, he will establish a type of Alexander the Great. He will be established as a type of Alexander the Great, a stubborn goat who has already begun to subdue 3 kings. In other words, the Abraham Accords. He signed the Abraham Accords with 3 nations, Israel, Bahrain, and United Arab Emirates. And it says in Daniel 8:25, he shall destroy many by peace. Well, there was a stipulation in the Abraham Accords that these nations had to cooperate with the needles. Okay? And so he destroyed many by peace. See, Trump is also the one who is credited with causing the people of the world to receive a mark, okay, in the right side of their brain, okay? When it says right hand in the Greek, it means the right hand side, the right hand side of the frontal lobe of the brain. You see, this technology, which is called FunVax, was adopted in 2005 by the Department of Defense. It sends a chip to the right-hand side of the frontal lobe of the brain behind the forehead. It's a tracking device. So thus we have his name, President Donald Trump, 666, the V word, 666, mark of beast, 666. Now, I'm going to show you something really quick. Here it is. We will finally complete the biometric entry exit visa tracking system. He said it in a speech in 2016. What do you think is in the needles? Okay, the biometric entry exit visa tracking system. That's what Trump's Space Force is all about. It's 24-hour surveillance. People, open your eyes.
We had no idea back then. We didn't, we were thinking anything to stop illegal immigration, and we didn't even imagine that it meant what it can mean now. With the satellite technology, they can zoom in and see body heat. They can scan who you are all over the place. There's things that have been put into people's body.
Exactly.
And our government has really gone rogue in terms of using technology against its own people.
Exactly. And it's just like it goes over people's heads because they're not paying attention. People are not paying attention.
And these are not new ideas. I mean, with Bush and the Patriot Act, I mean, that was a plan. And it goes way before that. But these are not new ideas. They've been marching towards this for a long time.
Exactly.
At least 70 years.
Exactly. Everybody's like, oh, I'm so glad that Trump wants to bring back the guillotine and the firing squads. Yeah, you're glad about it until it's forged against you. Okay. What do you think he means when he says he wants to bring back the guillotine, the firing squads, and hanging for death penalty? People, you need to pay attention to what is going on. Okay. See, President Trump displays some of the same characteristics as Nimrod, the first historical anti-Mashiach. Nimrod was the builder of the Tower of Babel in the same way that Trump builds towers all over the world. And I just got done showing you hundreds of them around the world. Trump towers. Nimrod first appears in Genesis chapter 6. He's described as a mighty hunter. The Hebrew Strong's Concordance defines the name Nimrod, number H5248, as rebellious or valiant. The dictionary defines this word valiant as bold, courageous, brave, stout-hearted, a valiant soldier marked by showing bravery or valor, heroic, to make a valiant effort, worthy, excellent. That's how most Trump supporters, MAGA people see him, right? This goes along with the idea of Nimrod being a mighty hunter. It is rumored that President Trump has been hunting down the wicked pedophile rings, the child traffickers, and the cabal. I believe he's really going to do this, but not because he's a righteous person, but because he wants everybody out of the way who poses a threat to him, who is, his opposition. So he's going to go after these people, not because he cares about child sex trafficking. but because he wants anybody out of the way who wants a piece of the pie, right? He's going to eliminate all his competition. You see, to those in the occult world, taking down the cabal and the Federal Reserve is necessary in order to transition to the age of Pisces. Oh, I'm sorry, from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. See, in the new age, they believe we have to transition to a new age of enlightenment, the age of Aquarius. So that means they have to take down the old cabal and bring in the new cabal. Okay. The Hebrew word for hunter is tza'id, which means the game, the chase. You see, the word game comes from the same Latin root as gamble, as in gambling casinos. Interestingly, the new Trump Tower at Uruguay began construction in 2017. It has a very similar shape to the Tower of Babel. The prophet Isaiah called Nimrod the Assyrian because, see, one of the 10 provinces in the land of Shinar where Nimrod ruled was called Ashur. That's in Genesis chapter 10. It lists 10 provinces in the land of Shinar, which is where I believe the 10 horns on the beast later came from. They all started there in ancient Babel, but they spread out to the whole entire world. So Assyrian comes from this word Ashur, where we derive Assyria or Assyrian. See, this word Ashur means to be successful, to stand up straight, and to be proud. Can you think of another political leader today who's builder of towers? Can you think of another political leader today who knows how to play the game? Somebody who wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. Can you think of another political leader who loves the challenge of a chase? Can you think of another political leader who is a successful real estate mogul? Does this ring a bell, anybody? See, Trump fits all the criteria of the little horn. And nobody's name adds up to 666 with all these terms more than Trump. And yeah, I believe that Charles is an anti-Messiah for sure. But does that mean he's going to be the one to build the third temple in Jerusalem? I don't think that he will be the one. I think Trump's already been slated for that position. They've already asked Trump to build the temple. So I believe it's going to be him. Don't be fooled when you see Orangeman going to jail wearing the orange jumpsuit. People are going to be going, oh, his career's over. Don't be so quick. This is how Hitler rose to power. He went to jail for insurrection. And when he got out of jail, the German Christians went wild. They loved him all the more because, see, they love to rally support for a poor, persecuted martyr. Look what they're doing to that poor man. You see, the cabal and the global elites hate him so much that they're framing him. They're making him look like he caused an insurrection. This is the narrative that they're painting on purpose to make him look like the real Messiah who was falsely accused of insurrection. And this is why I recommend this blog and this video called The Mystery Behind the Insurrection at the Capitol Dome. And now I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but if you go all the way down to this part of the blog, I show how, the reason why he orchestrated this event on January the 6th is because in the Catholic Church, January 6th is called the Feast of the Epiphany. The Greek word epiphany means God manifest. It has a numerical value of 666 in Greek gematria. There was another anti-Messiah leader, Antiochus, who gave himself the title Epiphanes. In 167 BC, he erected a statue of Zeus in the Jewish temple, claiming to be the manifestation of God. And now we have another anti-Messiah leader who's openly claiming to be the manifestation of Elohim. But few people can see it because they lack spiritual discernment. Now in Mark 15:6, it says, now at that feast, meaning the feast of Passover, Pontius Pilate, who's Roman, released unto them one prisoner, whomsoever they desired. Mark 15:7 says, and there was one named Barabbas, which lay bound with them that had made insurrection with him, who had committed murder in the insurrection. The Romans allowed Barabbas to go free after being imprisoned for insurrection. Why? Because they falsely accused our Messiah of insurrection. So do you see what's taking place with Trump? They're trying to make him look like the real Messiah who's falsely being accused of insurrection. So I can see where Trump will first play the part of the Messiah who's falsely being accused of insurrection, and the Christians and the conservatives will go wild and they will start rioting in the streets because they're so angry that he went to jail unjustly. But then he's going to get released at a later time, like Barabbas, because the people are going to be shouting in the streets, give us Trump. Just like they shouted, give us Barabbas. They're going to be so enraged that they're going to worship Trump more than they worship the true Messiah, Yahushua. And see, like I said, the Roman Catholic Church uses this date, January 6th, as the Feast of the Epiphany, when they claim that the Magi, the wise men, came to visit the Messiah in Bethlehem. Trump invited his MAGA supporters. See, MAGA stands for magic. Magi is plural, which means the wise men or the magicians. He invited his Magi to come to January 6th at the Capitol Dome, because why? The Capitol Dome is supposed to represent the womb of Isis. It's supposed to represent the womb of Mary Magdalene, which they call the Holy Grail, because see, if you turn a dome upside down, it looks like a chalice. It looks like a cup, right? See, this event on January 6, 2021 was called the Million MAGA March. In the fifth degree of Satanism, it's called MAGA, okay? In Greek or Latin, it's magus, which means magician. See, the whole entire thing was orchestrated. Right here, you see on the website of the Church of Satan, MAGA, magus, fifth degree. That's what's on the Trump hats, okay? People don't realize they're being initiated into this magic, sex magic ritual. They're trying to make Trump look like the magician. And look, he's got a magic wand in his hand, the golden image they made of Trump. He's got the golden image in his hand. Marina Abramovich, who's this spirit cooking witch, she actually said that Trump is the magician. I mean, this was, I'm trying to find it here. I think it's somewhere in this article. She actually said that Trump is the magician. He's playing the part. Yeah, here is St. Peter's Dome in the Vatican, St. Paul's Dome in London. There's the U.S. Capitol Dome in Washington, D.C. You see, these all represent the womb of the Queen of Heaven, Isis, who in Roman Catholicism, now they call that the womb of Mary Magdalene, the Holy Grail. Trump's mother is Mary McLeod, just like Mary Magdalene, okay? In front of all of these places, there's the phallus of Nimrod in London, the Vatican, and the Washington, D.C. It's all has to do with fertility, fertility, sex magic rituals. And they talk about it in this film called The Belly of the Beast. I highly recommend that you watch that film. This is why Trump calls himself the chosen one, because he knows that he's part of this royal bloodline, this royal bloodline. And, I highly recommend going back and watching that video so you understand what's going on. And let's see, I think I've got a couple other tidbits that I want to share with you. If I can find it. I'll do this another week. Trump's Merovingian royal bloodline. I'll cover this on another week. But here is Trump's mother. It was a famous painting done by this Jesuit Catholic priest. His name is Benjamin Long, and it's a painting of Trump's mother, Mary McLeod, and she's pregnant with Trump. And this painting is displayed at this church down in, I think it's Georgia. And if you do the coordinates from this church to Paris, France, where Mary Magdalene's body is encrypted in Paris, France, supposedly, under this pyramid, this glass pyramid, it's like 666 kilometers or something like that. So Trump was born on June 14th, 1946, under a total lunar eclipse on a blood red moon. It was exactly 700 days before Israel became a nation on May 14th, 1948. They are telling us in so many ways who Trump is, but most people don't notice this. Now, this is a graphic I made from the Da Vinci Code. This is where, this professor is decoding the Last Supper painting, and he shows the triangle. You see, according to the Rosicrucians, the Knights Templar, this is the chalice. You see, Leonardo da Vinci was one of these guys. He was like one of the Jesuit Knights of Templar, and he painted Mary Magdalene into this Last Supper painting, and then he puts a gap between Mary Magdalene and Jesus, and he puts a triangle between them because the triangle is supposed to represent the Holy Grail or the chalice. And it's supposed to represent the feminine divine. That's what they call this in the occult world. Here's the glass pyramid in Paris, France, where they claim, the Rosicrucians claim Mary Magdalene is there enshrined under this crypt, right? Now, as this professor is decoding the Last Supper painting, in the background, they show an oil painting of Trump's mother, Mary McLeod. They never mention it in the movie. They never say this is a painting of Trump's mother. They just want the audience to go, oh, that's just a painting of some lady in the background. I noticed it right away because I've seen pictures of Trump's mother. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a painting of Trump's mother. And here we are, Trump's mother. Okay, she's got the updo with the red hair. The same thing in this painting. She's got the updo with the red hair. Okay, see, and Trump doing the upside down triangle. That's his famous signature. He does this all the time. This is the Trump displaying the symbol for the feminine divine, the Holy Grail. He's displaying it because he wants people to know he's the chosen one. He's the one that supposedly comes from the bloodline of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And, in this Boss Baby film, it's a well-known secret in Hollywood. Celebrities say that the Boss Baby is portraying Trump. Okay. And, the Templeton family, there's a little boy in this cartoon called Timothy Templeton. He's 7 years old. He's jealous of the new addition to the family, the little Boss Baby that comes into the family. But it's interesting because his initials are TT, Timothy Templeton, which I believe Templeton stands for the temple, right? They're building the train station that's going to shuttle people from the Ben Gurion airport to the Trump, the Temple Mount. They're doing that this spring. And Timothy Templeton is TT, which I believe represents Trump Temple, or could also represent Third Temple. But here's the catch. You see, at the timestamp of this movie, at 1 minute and 42 seconds, Timothy Templeton describes his family of 3 people. And he says, we are the Templetons, when he's describing 3 people. And then suddenly this large yellow triangle is displayed. As Timothy says, 3 is the perfect number, and triangles are the most powerful shape on earth. Now, why would Timothy Templeton be saying this unless he's alluding to the third temple that Trump is going to build? See, right after the yellow triangle is displayed, it shows the Titanic sinking into the ocean, which we know the Titanic went down by, the global elites because there were these people on that ship that were trying to stop the Federal Reserve from changing our currency from the gold standard to, notes. And so that, that's another hint right there. But get this, the voice of Boss Baby in this cartoon is played by Alec Baldwin. He has been famously, he has famously done the Donald Trump impersonation on Saturday Night Live. 41 times, Alec Baldwin nailed the Trump impersonation. Now get this. This is at the 11 minutes and 6 seconds. If you turn that down upside down, it's 9/11. That's not an accident. You see, the timestamp at the bottom of the YouTube displays 9/11 upside down, connecting Trump to the Twin Towers. You'll learn more about how Trump is connected to the events of 9/11 if you watch this video called What Did Back to the Future Tell Us About Donald Trump? Now, this is the blog, but you can also go watch the video. Now, I highly suspect that the name Boss Baby stands for blue bloods, because Trump has been known to use this term blue bloods when describing his royal blood. See, the Boss Baby logo even uses the color blue. What's even more telling is that the Templeton mother, this is the Templeton mother, right? She's got the same red hairdo as Trump's mother, the updo, red hair, red-headed updo like Trump's mother, just like the Da Vinci Code painting. Now, this painting is very pixelated. I tried very hard to find a better image of this, but couldn't find it. But you see, they're telling us everything in plain sight. Once you begin to understand what's getting ready to happen, see, Trump has been slated to build the temple, and he's honored as the king of Israel and the king of Jerusalem. Okay? They even named this place Trump Heights after him. Okay? His image is on the coin. In fact, his lineage goes all the way back to the Count Anjou, the king of Jerusalem, from 1131 to 1143. He was the king of Jerusalem. He's also related to William the First, the Conqueror, William the Conqueror. So I'm just kind of giving some highlights, but I'll do another separate video at some other time called Trump's Merovingian Bloodline, and I'll go into a lot more detail. But that, please pay attention to what's going on in the news. When you see Orangeman going to jail, you'll know it's contrived. It's on purpose. Okay? All right.
So if I can I know I can because I'm the one running the gear, right? So, them going after Nancy Pelosi now, the conservatives who are in control of the House of the Senate, they're launching their own investigation and trying to get Nancy Pelosi. And I would love all the people that are guilty of manipulation on both sides of the aisle to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. I don't expect that anyone will. I mean, maybe there'll be a few sacrificial lambs that are low-hanging fruit that they'll offer, to the public. See, we got justice, but it's not going to be anything significant.
Exactly.
But what I do think is meant to happen is I don't think he's ever going to go to jail. I think, his name has been smeared, if you will, by the political left as designed to further divide our country, because then they can institute more stuff. And this is for nothing other than the purpose of having him have testimony now while the new Congress is in session here in 2023. Mm-hmm. And basically they're going to, quote unquote, exonerate him and say, you poor guy, you put up with so much, and here you are righteous all along. And there are people, who are wrongly imprisoned, who are part of the January 6th demonstration. Mm-hmm. And there was some violence by, I believe, what was pretty much Antifa and maybe some hidden FBI, CIA agents, stirring things up in addition. But, basically the whole thing is meant to further polarize. Those who are lefties are going to go harder left, those who are righties are going to go, yeah, finally, and going to draw them together, and both sides are just really going to retreat to their own corners. There might be some middle people who are swayed one way or another, but it's meant to overall to further polarize.
Right.
Yahuwah bless you and keep you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. We hope you've enjoyed today's broadcast and that you are encouraged in your walk with Messiah. For more teachings, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of our latest content. Visit Maria's many blogs at doubleportioninheritance.com. That's doubleportioninheritance.com. This ministry is made possible by the prayers and support of listeners like you. To make a donation by PayPal or Venmo.com, use the email address doubleportioninheritance@gmail.com. That's doubleportioninheritance@gmail.com. On behalf of Maria and Gary at Double Portion Inheritance Ministries, may Yahuwah bless you.